Okay, here we go. Everything is set. All right. So each one of you have this Connecting to Source. Everyone who's online, I've sent you also one. This is the workbook. We're going to go through this and find different ways on why we feel disconnected, what the point of disconnection is, and really hidden secret Kabbalistic access points on how we can easily connect without putting in so much effort. I feel like a lot of the times we make our service to Hashem much more complicated than it is when we're trying to connect. We feel like he's so far away from us. And how can we possibly connect to the creator of the entire universe? How can I do that? So we're going to find out some really cool ways. So I'd like you to turn to page 3. We're going to start here. I'd also like you guys to chime in with your own thoughts or questions, as much as I'm here sharing. The point of women coming together is to be able to share, to create community, to hear what each other has to say. What you say to somebody else is going to open their heart. It's going to help someone else. It's going to help me learn. It's going to help each other learn. So please feel free to jump in at any time and stop me and jump in. All right. So one of the things that's usually a misconception is that we feel that disconnection, it's a punishment. We feel like it's God shutting the door on us. We might feel that we're not good enough, but all those thoughts and those things that are in our head that try to understand it. So what is Hasidus? What is Kabbalah? What does Rabbi Nachman say about disconnection? What is the point of it? So we're going to find out there's an actual root of it. So before we do that, we want to know where our root is. How are we connected to God? So it says that every soul longs to connect to its creator. And we feel distant and distracted. But according to Kabbalah and Hasidus, the connection between the soul and the source never was broken. So as far as you feel that you're away from Hashem, as far as you feel he is from you, it's actually impossible. As long as you're breathing and living, you're actually plugged in to source. It says in Tanya that the divine soul within a person is literally a part of God above, which means if you're breathing and walking and eating and seeing and alive in this world, you're actually plugged into source. So that's one promise. The second one is the Zohar says on Bereshis in chapter 2, it says he breathed into his, chapter 2. He breathed into his nostrils a living soul, a nishmat chaim. So we explain, the sages say that if you're able to, one who blows breath, he's blowing from within himself. So it means that our soul is actually coming from within Hashem's essence. So we're forever, ever connected. We're not disconnected, but I feel disconnected. So here's the source. Kabbalah Hasidus tells us you can't be disconnected. If you're alive, you're connected. So how do we connect to God? And why do we feel this disconnect in our lives and in our bodies? So there's 3 main teachings that Rabbi Nachman brings down. It's brought down in Hasidus, Kabbalah, and in a lot of our teachings. There's 3 sayings, and if follow along in Hebrew, and I'll give you in English. We've got Tzimtzumim, which are contractions or Hashem withdrawing himself. We have the idea of the descent for the sake of an ascent. So a downfall in order to be able to rise. And this idea of shevirat hakeilim, which is the shattering of the vessels. So these are 3 main forms of concealment where we feel that God is distant from us. We're going to kind of understand what each of these are. But these are really created as portals for Hashem to get closer to us. So he knows, look, I made this finite world. I'm an infinite God. You can't handle all my light. You would die. You'd just be back in heaven with me, and we'd restart the whole process all over again. So how can I make you see me? So this idea of contractions and pulling back is the way that God actually invites us to come in and connect. So it seemed to him like a withdrawal. It's a contraction of Hashem's light. So he hides himself so that we can kind of discover him. The Baal Shem Tov, which is one of my favorite teachers, is he gave this beautiful analogy of a parent that teaches a child to walk. So the child is struggling to walk, and the child is terrified and afraid. And the parent, what does the parent do? It doesn't take a step closer. You take a step back. Why? That seems cruel. The child falls down, falls on his face, scrapes his knee, cries. Parent comes, picks him up again, stands him up, and takes a step back. Come closer. Keep walking to me. Hashem does this because he wants us to start being able to earn these steps on our own, to be able to grow. If he just picked us up the entire time, we wouldn't be able to grow. We wouldn't be able to have this spiritual desire and the spiritual muscle to be able to be where we are right now, sitting at a table, learning Torah, when we could be, sitting at home and, I don't know, reading a magazine. There's some desire in our heart today that brought us here from the struggles and the tzimtzuming that Hashem has put in our lives, that he's inviting us to come and take a step forward. And I don't know, I feel that a lot in my life. I'm like, where are you? I have no idea where you are. I feel like you've totally disappeared. And that idea of peekaboo, right? Hashem creates this game of peekaboo. This is an illusion. He wants to create desire. He wants us to come and start looking for him. The next one is the descent for the sake of an ascent. Yirda litzora aliyah. So I'm just going to read it here. Sometimes disconnection happens when we are actually growing. So let's say you started davening, you're saying Tehillim, you're lighting Shabbos candles, you're feeling Hashem, you're, recognizing him, you're doing gratitude, you're all of this type of stuff. You're finally like doing something. You feel like, okay, I'm like doing some good Jew stuff here. Like I'm a good Jew, right? And then what happens? You get this crash and it hurts and it's painful. But there's a purpose to that. That is not something that you made. That is actually orchestrated by Hashem. It says when a person rises spiritually, a greater light begins to enter into their life. The old vessel may not yet be strong enough to hold it, and the skin must shed. This is going to be what we're going to be talking about later, shevirat hakeilim, which is the shattering of the vessels. So confusion is going to appear. These horrible challenges are going to arise. Hello, hi, come on in. No, you're good, come on in. These challenges are going to arise. And it can feel like we're falling off the path. But it says, Rabbi Nachman says, this is often the doorway to a higher level. It might feel like distance, but it's actually the soul is preparing for a deeper and a much higher connection. So Hashem is going to create this illusion of us going down and pushing us down, because now we need to get to the next level. And that beautiful analogy, do you mind if I have your workbook to hand her? Thank you. A beautiful analogy that I was told was that if you're in the third grade, and so you finish, you get a graduation party, you're so excited, your parents threw a pool party and your friends are there and you're so happy. And then your parents are like, no, you're staying home for the summer and you're doing homeschool. And you're frustrated. You're like, well, I just had this great party. Isn't like life meant to be great? I just finished third grade. We all celebrated me. No, now we're going to do homeschool. And because we're preparing you for the fourth grade. So Hashem's preparing us for the fourth grade. He gives us this idea of like a liminal space. He kind of pushes us away, or we have these challenges in life. Someone's going to challenge us. You're going to learn like I did the other day. I had a class on the 13 most difficult people. Up until last night at 2 a.m., I had to deal with one of those 13 most difficult people in my life and use the 13 attributes of Hashem's mercy to deal with them. So whenever you learn about something, you're going to maybe start seeing that Hashem is going to test you in the exact same thing that you are trying to grow in. But that's how we know that we're on the right path. So if you feel a crash down, it's not Hashem being like, I'm sorry. It's Hashem being like, I'm preparing you for level up. And shevirat hakeilim, this is probably one of my favorite Rabbi Nachman teachings. Actually, it's one of, I believe, the Arizal's teaching. He said that creation began with the divine light, with Hashem's infinite light, and it was entering the vessels. So Hashem's got his infinite light, and he creates a vessel for this light to have, but the light was too powerful, so it had to crack. So If you've ever, it's similar to the descent of an ascent, but let's say that you go to a waterfall with a plastic cup and you want to get a drink. What's going to happen? Your plastic cup is going to completely break. You need to have a bigger vessel. If you want to be able to take water back to your village or to drink, it's not going to work. You have to have the right vessel. So Hashem's like, listen, I need to upgrade you, but you need to have the correct right vessel. So that's what shevirat hakeilim is. So Hashem's breaking our vessels. So to remember, he's going to withdraw from us. He's going to break our vessels and he's going to push us back. That's all going to feel like disconnection. And the Zohar teaches that even when this light is concealed in creation, it's inviting us to come and check it out and come and look for it. And Rabbi Nachman says that this spiritual distance, it's part of the journey. So if this is happening for you, has anyone experienced any of these three? Yeah? Okay. So if this is happening for you or it's happened for you in the past, you may have been like, oh yeah, that horrible situation happened. But like I got like a big upgrade, maybe a few weeks later, months later, maybe a year later. Like you're able to look back and see. This is what Rabbi Nachman says, look for these three if you can. Check them out. Look for these three pushbacks, these three disconnections. Again, because we have this illusion of this world, we're seeing that this is Hashem, like, I can't even connect you, I can't talk to you, you're pushing yourself away from me. It's not. This is him actually moving us towards him. And there's like a beautiful, I saw when I was, it's so funny, the first time I went to Jewish high school, it was my first Shabbaton. And I'm not sure if anyone here knows, but I converted. I wasn't Jewish, but I was able to go to a Jewish high school. So everyone's at this Shabbaton table, and like they're all Chabad, and they ask everyone to go around and share something about the Parsha or Hashem, and I'm just like, oh, I don't know anything. Like I was like 12 years old. I'm brand new in this school. I have no idea what I'm doing. I want to share, but like I'm gonna feel stupid. These girls they've been in school for so long and they know so much, and I have nothing to share. And I was just like panicking, and it came to my turn, and I was like, oh gosh, I know what I'm gonna say. So I'm gonna stand up really like confident. I said, everyone's talking about the Parsha, but I'm gonna just share something that like really touched me. And it was true. I once saw a sticker or a bumper sticker. I'm not sure which one it was. I think it was a bumper sticker that said, if God feels far away, go home. So I got up there, I said it. Everyone was like, wow. And I sat down like, oh my God, okay, I survived. But it really stuck with me until today that anytime we have this disconnection, when we feel Hashem is away from us, it's really the illusion. Like we learn here, Hasidus, Kabbalah tells us we can't be disconnected from our source. Our source is, if we're alive in this world, there's a purpose, there's a reason. Hashem is connected to us. Us not feeling the connection is a totally different process, which we're going to go through. So we're going to now kind of learn how to go home. So there's a little meditation I like you guys to turn to. It's on the next page, page 6. Okay, if you can, this is not a deep meditation, it's just an invitation. We're going to try this one. This is a very short version of a meditation taught to me by one of my teachers, Rav Daniel Katz. It's called the Four Frequencies of the Heart. If anyone's been in one of my meditations before, you'll probably find this one familiar, but this is just a quick one. So if you can, just close your eyes or just find a comfortable breath and just take a moment. Think of a time in your life where you felt a lot of love for another person. Ahava. What does ahava feel like in your body? Just take a second to feel that. Picture the details. Kind of feel how your body responds to having a lot of love for someone else. I'm going outside of ourselves here. Okay, now think of a moment where you were in a holy place, maybe the kotel, maybe touching the Sefer Torah when you were in shul. think of a Kedusha place that felt good for you. Maybe it was a time where you were praying. Just find that Kedusha moment. Feel how the details feel and how your body kind of responds. And we're going to move to another frequency. Think of a moment in your life where you felt so much joy, simcha, a lot of joy. Just kind of feel that, bring up all those details, the colors, the sounds, who is with you, and feel how your body responds to that. We'll move to the last frequency. This one is in nature. I'd like you to, just for a moment, a quick moment, take yourself to a time in nature where you felt the wonder, the power, the vastness of creation. Yira. This is the frequency of yira, of awe, of wonder. Maybe it was in the jungle. Maybe it was seeing the night sky and seeing all the stars, staring at a beautiful mountain, standing at the base of a mountain, feeling that gravity of how big it is and how small you are, a sunset. And picture that moment for a moment and just bring up those details and see how your body responds. And you can open your eyes now. Those were little moments of Hashem allowing you to connect to Him. Just little pinholes of moments. He gives you millions of them all day, all week, all year, but we don't see them. But those memories are ones that Hashem wants you to know, hey, I'm here. You're connected to me. I gave you a moment like that to experience. Ahava, Kedusha, Simcha, Yira. So I have a question for you. There's a reflections page here. I didn't bring any pens. I'm sorry. I just realized. But you can, if you have, thank you. You can even just ask yourself or journal these back at home. Ask yourself when you feel most connected to your Creator. Before we learn on how to connect, let's find out, how do you feel most connected? And then I invite you to answer another question here. How do you feel, when do you feel most disconnected? If anyone wants to share one of those, anyone want to share when you feel most connected or most disconnected?
Connected?
Yes.
I'm deep in meditation.
When you're deep in meditation? Yeah. Why do you feel most connected there?
Well, I travel there.
You travel?
Easy access.
And how about when you feel most disconnected?
At this point, I don't feel this. Not anymore.
Yeah?
Uh,
I can do the rest of the class. So how did you get to that place of not feeling disconnected? Okay.
I've been on the journey 5 years. Every time it's just finding this community. But it's a lot of self-work.
Yeah. Constant renewal. Rabbi Nachman says that. He says, like, you have to be constantly renewing yourself. I don't want old people. I don't want old, didn't mean old physically. I don't want old mentality. I want you to constantly being like, everything I knew 5 minutes ago, I don't know anymore. I want you to come in with new, fresh insight, new, fresh mindset. I know nothing. I want you to completely start at square one. And that's a really good place to be able to be, because your ego is down, your humility is up. And when you're humble, like Moshe was the most humble, and he got the Torah in his most humble state. He was like, this is not from me. I'm just a channel. Whatever you want me to say, whatever you want me to learn, I'm open to it. All right, so let's move on to some of these hidden access points. Now there's quite a few here, and I skipped 2 of them, but I have them written down for you. And then we're going to experience what it's like to reword a blessing. Rebbetzin Ayala is giving you permission to reword an entire bracha from start to finish. That's okay. All right. Yeah. If you want to journal at home, I invite you to take these home and really like sit down and ask yourself these questions. It really helps the self-reflection. There's three types of speech. There's thought, there's speech, and there's action. There's the thought speech that we have, there's the verbal speech, and then there's the written speech. So taking all three together is really important. So I encourage you to share or talk or write down too. Just staying in our thoughts is only one part of the process. So the actual writing is very, very, very important. I'm not good at it, but when I do, I write for hours and then I come up with a workbook. Okay. So let's learn about these hidden access points. Now, you might think that you might know some of these, but it's always good to hear them again and know that we can tap into any of these to connect to Hashem and to be able to feel our creator, feel our source. So we want to feel. We don't want to just be doing without feeling. For me, I can't. I need the both. But it's not always easy and it can be difficult. So here's some Kabbalistic portals that Hashem gave us. We can time travel to a place where we feel his presence and where this connection is easy and it's accessible. So the first one is desire. I actually just found this the other day, which was really cool. My husband sent it to me. This wonderful rabbi has this amazing book. It's called the Kedushas Levi. Has anyone heard of it before? Okay, I never heard of it. I've never picked it up, but he found this teaching in there, and it's got these really deep mystical teachings. They're not so complicated and difficult to read. So this one he gives us, he says, if you have a desire to already connect or to do a mitzvah or to do, it means that Hashem, let me take you a step back. He says, if a person feels this strong inner desire to do something good, to pray or to give charity, all of a sudden, you just want to feel like, I want to reconnect with God or to do a mitzvah or just some type of connection. He says that feeling is not coming only from you. That is Hashem, that's heaven awakening your soul. It's shaking you up. You're like, oh, I suddenly want to give like charity today for some strange reason. I don't know why. I feel it. Why do you feel it? That's heaven waking you up. That's heaven wanting to connect you, helping you connect. So when you feel this longing or this inspiration to do something, to do a mitzvah, or to do a kindness or a good deed, to do any type of connection with Hashem, it means that this spark was sent down. Hashem is giving it to you. So you kind of get a freebie. Hashem is saying, here you go. Here's how you connect. And when you do it, you're like, oh, I feel really good. It kind of feels like, it feels nice, right? At this moment of inspiration. And you're like, and you want to share it with the whole world. You're like, not look what I did, but I feel good. You should do this too. And you want to share that with other people and like connect, give to this charity or help out with this organization, or you feel that desire. So he's saying that that's not necessarily all yours. It's really Hashem giving that to you. And it's not random, it's divine assistance. And it's the same spiritual fire that the Jewish people had at Har Sinai. It's that longing and that yearning and that desire. So when you have that, jump on that. Don't let that go. That's a wave. If anyone's, I always give a surfing analogy in my classes, but if anyone's surfed, you'll start feeling the ocean start to pick up behind you and you'll feel the energy of it. That's when you start paddling and you paddle and you paddle and you don't turn around. You don't look. It might be a wave, it might be nothing, but you just keep going. So ride that energy. And that is the amazing, amazing, amazing thing. Never let that go. If you can catch that and harness that. Yeah.
Is a mitzvah only like the mama, or also talking about like today you wake up and you're like, I'm going to be so kind to my children. Like, is it only like tzedakah or like praying?
Well, what does a mitzvah mean to you?
To me, it thought being nice to my children and making dinner and all those things.
Yeah.
But you're saying that's also, it's not necessarily something but like holy, I guess.
Like one of the 613, right?
It's not necessarily something out of routine. It's like, no, I want to do this. That's also like God saying like,
yeah. A mitzvah, also mitzvah, I find, again, I went to Chabad high school and I love it so much, but there was a lot of heaviness on the word mitzvah. It was an obligation. Instead of the word obligation of mitzvah, we should really try to look at it as a connection. Hashem didn't make a world and being like, I'm going to make a bunch of rules so that I can like punish you guys from heaven and hit like you with lightning bolts. He gave us these abilities to connect between each other to him, to nature, to prayer, to each other, to community. That's what these are. So being nice to your children is a mitzvah. You know how like our kids have mitzvah charts, like, and it's like, oh, I don't know, you smile at your sister, you give them a sticker. All of that is included. We want them to know it. A mitzvah is not just an obligation. It's a connection. It's a portal. So yeah, being kind to your kids or waking them up or making them breakfast.
I don't really have like, oh, I should give tzedakah, but I do have like, today I'm going to be a patient mom. So
Right.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay.
Yeah. This was just some of the things that I put out there, but that's why before you came, I was saying, I invite you guys, take this workbook and rewrite it in your own words. Rewrite it, make it work for you. This is just my own stuff, but that's not what it's meant for. This is meant to be something that you're meant to work on. Like, okay, like I feel today that, it's a mitzvah to take care of your body. It's a mitzvah to exercise. It is a huge mitzvah to exercise, to take care of the goof. People don't think it is. It's like massive. Exercising is a mitzvah. You get on the treadmill and be like, I'm doing a mitzvah. Like you really are. So any of these moments that you get an opportunity to feel that I'm connecting to God in a beautiful way, to my community, to myself, to these connection points, not these obligations that feel right and feel good. That's Hashem giving you a moment to be like, this one is specific for you to connect to. You wanted to give money to an orphanage in northern Israel, and your heart was like, I have to give like $300 to that. I just have to give. That's Hashem saying, I know that's where you're going to connect. I really want to be good, kind to my kids, say like extra. Hashem's giving that to you. It says here, because it's the desire, the longing. That's where he knows you're going to connect today. Not everyone's going to connect in the same way, and not everyone's going to connect on the same day in the same way. According to the Kabbalah Levi. I know it sounds like a big, scary name, but I like his stuff. I just found it. Yeah, it's in English, yeah. Okay. I wish I rewrote this one a little bit with a different word rather than teshuva, because I feel like teshuva is heavy. It sounds really heavy. But basically, God gave us this amazing gift called teshuva, which is return. Teshuv, hey. So if you know the word teshuva in Kabbalah, we take the word teshuva and we take the hey, and teshuv means return. Hey is representing Hashem. So returning to Hashem. So teshuva it's not a heavy thing. It's a connection. It's a way to return. It's, hey, we haven't spoken for a long time. What's up? I know I've been a little distant. I kind of blamed you for some stuff. My mindset probably could have been a little bit different. Returning to the hey. And it says that when actually before the world was created, there were 7 things created before the world, and one of them was this concept of return. So it says that the return was not added later as a correction for human failure. It was woven into the very structure of creation. Before people could stumble or feel distant from their creator, the pathway back already existed. In this sense, the universe was designed with a spiritual failsafe. No matter how far you feel that you've drifted, the doorway is always open to return. I'm just going to read down here. The Zohar explains that teshuva, returning, connecting to Hashem, it's beyond ordinary spiritual levels because it reconnects you directly to the source itself. You get to go straight to the CEO. Go, I want to make an appointment with you. Teshuva takes you right there. There's a few things that do that. Teshuva and hoda, gratitude. 2 things take you right there, straight to the throne. You don't have to wait in line. You skip the red rope. And we're not here regret. It's not about just simply regret or fear of punishment. We're trying to starting with honesty. Okay, if I want a connection with you, we have to kind of get to know each other. We kind of have to get honest with each other. If we had a fallout and we want to reconnect, we got to clear the table. I can't sit here with that resentment or that grudge or that guilt, just that feeling of yuckiness between us. So we got to sit down, we got to clear that out. But there's something really cool that I love this one, that when you're able to, let's say, do teshuva, let's say there's something like, okay, God, I was like, I messed up with that, or I could have done that better. It's called double jeopardy. You can't be tried twice for it. So if you come and you hand yourself in, basically, you can't get charged twice. So that's what Teshuva is, a double jeopardy. If you go and you give it in, you're not going to you can't get judged on the same thing if you've already come and brought it to God's attention. He's like, oh, she already knows. The whole point of Hashem getting our attention through other things is that he wants us to like, hey, like, let's clear this out. Like that part of our relationship doesn't feel good for me. And it probably doesn't feel good for you. So he brings these things to our attention. So we can do it by ourselves. We don't have to have Hashem giving us signs. We can take care of it ourselves. Like I'll take community service. I will admit that I'll admit that I bumped into someone's car and I scratched it, and I'm going to do community service on it. I don't need to get points off my license. Hashem gives the opportunity for us to just come and clear the table with him.
Responsibility and accountability.
Yeah. Responsibility and accountability. So the next one is blessings. Now, we're going to do one after, and we're going to see how to do this. So blessings are actually, we think that it's blessing God, right? I have this cacao. I have this orange juice. Thank you, Creator, for this food, and now I can eat it, right? I've blessed God. I've blessed the food. The food is now blessed. I can eat it, right? Or that's also what the non-Jewish world thinks. They think that Jews go around and we do weird blessings on food to, you have the Mishkiach come, and they've done some weird, heebie-jeebie on the food. We don't believe in any of that. That's not what we're believing. We know that a blessing, if it's on food or if it's on new shoes or if it's on anything, it's recognizing the source. We're going to try that out. So really what we believe, it's not giving to God. How can we really give to God? He has everything. He made everything, right? But it's a pause in which we become aware that everything we receive ultimately comes from the divine. When we say a blessing, we're shifting now our awareness from the physical object in front of us to the source behind it. So I'm no longer shifting my consciousness to what's in this cup. I'm now shifting my consciousness to Hashem. That's the idea of a blessing, right? We're shifting our consciousness. When you shift your consciousness, now your consciousness and Hashem's consciousness become aligned. So we want to get into alignment, and brachot were designed to help us get into alignment, not as an obligation, but as an alignment vessel and a vehicle. Hisbodedut. Does anyone here do Hisbodedut? Yeah, you do Hisbodedut? Has anyone tried Hisbodedut? Yeah? Okay. Anyone struggled with Hisbodedut?
I love it. I wish I did it more.
Okay.
I used to struggle to commit to do it.
Struggle to commit?
But when I do it, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's this, talking to your best friend?
Yeah, talking to your best friend, Hisbodedut. Yeah. So Hisbodedut is, Rabbi Nachman talks about it a lot. We used to be a nation who only prophesized. We would say Hashem's names and letters. We go up, we get answers for the day, we come back down.
But it's to another human person, or
No,
talking to God?
To God, yeah. To God as your best friend.
Specifically in nature?
So 1 second. So it is preferable to do in nature, and there's a reason why. But we used to do this. Our forefathers, they would do Hisbodedut. They didn't have a prayer book. They didn't have a Sefer Torah. Well, it depends who you're asking. But we know that they went out into the field, and that's where we learned this idea, this concept. They went out into the field. What's the concept of going out into the field? Going into nature?
Easier to connect.
Right. We distance ourselves. We shut down our mind. We pop all of the bubbles. Anyone's been on SD, you know what I'm talking about. We get rid of the noise. We disconnect from everything, and we connect to source. Huh?
What you said, right?
Oh, we learned about popping bubbles and clearing our mind. We go into nature, and when we're in nature, Rabbi Nachman also says something really beautiful, that every blade of grass has an angel. Rabbi Nachman or the Arizal, I have to check, has an angel that oversees it. Can you imagine sitting in a field of grass and you're actually sitting in a field of angels? Yeah. You put your hands on the grass and you're just, every single grass has an angel attached to it, watching it, making sure it grows. The power of that. Who are those angels answering to? Not the source, Hashem, our creator. Each blade of grass he makes sure is taken care of. When you're looking at a blade of grass and you see a little ant crawling on it, and then you look at yourself, and it happens to me in Hitbodedut. I'll have ants crawl on me, and I look at them until it itches, and I flick them away. I don't squish them. But I'm like, Hashem is making sure that this creature in front of me, this person is being taken care of. This ant is here to teach me a lesson. This ant is being watched over. This blade of grass. If this blade of grass and this ant is being watched over, it hopefully brings you to a place of like total yira, of awe, of wonder, like, okay, my problems matter. You care enough about grass and this little ant, like you care about me. You gave me the ability to talk, to see, to pray, to sing, to dance, to communicate, to co-create. So it brings us to a state of connection to our creator. And there's lots of other beautiful reasons why we do it in nature if you can, but it's preferable, Rabbi Nachman says, to do it in the same place. You create a makom, you create like a spiritual container vessel, a little spaceship for you, right? You create that space. To do it daily, if you can do it once a day, you set a timer on your phone for 5 minutes. And Rabbi Arush even says that you can just say, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Give me words. I don't know what to say. Give me words. I don't know what to say. Give me words. And you'll get them. Like you'll get a freebie. It's like an open book test. Hashem will start putting words into your mouth. If you don't know what to say, you can start with gratitude. Gratitude is, again, one of those frequencies that take us right to the throne. There's no wait line. You skip all those people in line with all those requests. I need this. I need my roof fixed. I need my business partner. I need my husband to not be a jerk. I need all these types of things. And you skip that entire line and you go right to the throne. So when you can do that and Hitbodedut, I mean, try it. 5 minutes, 3 minutes. If you can't do it for 3 minutes, do it for 10. So here, I'm just going to read quickly. He says that it's speaking to Hashem in your own words, like you would speak to your best friend. And doing this daily, this is how you form this connection with your creator. Gratitude, confusion, struggles, hopes, all your complaints. It should be your complaint bucket, your gratitude bucket. Leave it all there. Then go on with your day. Then show up for your family. Then show up at work. Then show up for yourself. Leave it all there. It doesn't need to be formal or perfect. It's this beautiful power of this sincerity of conversation. And what it does, it opens our heart and it awakens our heart. And also the teaching here is that it is a spiritual form, an elevated form of spiritual practice because it creates a direct personal relationship to the Creator. I want God to know me on a first name basis. When I call him, the number doesn't say unknown or might be spam. It's Ayala with like a little emoji. Like God knows me by name. We have like an intimate connection. Like when I call him, he's like, yeah, so like we were talking about yesterday, let's continue. It's not like, okay, well, my name's Ayala and I have all this stuff going on and I feel like you haven't been with me. That might be the first few sessions or the first year, but eventually you get into a place of like, all right, we got to talk about dad again. All right, I need your help with it. Or I'm struggling. Or you know what? Like today I feel kind of good. Thank you. And the relationship, the communication flows. Think about your best friend where you just chat and you're sending each other messages or Instagram links. There's a constant flow. You can continue Hitbodedut even in your car and any other time, but if you can make a set time for it, your life will change. I guarantee you with your money back. If it doesn't change, come and see me and I will go right to my teachers who told me that. I'm telling you, if you do it, I promise you, you will see a change in your connection in your life. It's impossible not to. All right. So our next one is Nikudot Tovo. I love this one. So Rabbi Nachman says that every person has Nikudot Tovo, good points inside of them. And when someone feels far from God, broken or disappointed in themselves, there's always at least one spark of goodness there. It might be small, might be a kind action or sincere thought, just a desire to connect and grow. Rabbi Nachman says, when we look for these good points and we focus on them, something begins to change in us. Instead of getting stuck in guilt and negativity, we start to uncover these nikudot tovot. And these small sparks, they grow into feelings of connection. I'm a really good mom. Like, really good mom. Like, yeah. Or I have like really, 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 really cool ability to make beautiful art. I'm very creative. It's not just always seeing the points in ourselves too, but let's say someone is difficult in your life. This is also a way that you can connect to your creator. Somebody who's really challenging you, you can be, you know what, like at one point I did see they did some really nice stuff or they dress really well. Anything that you can do, pulling out the good points, it's going through all the husks and pulling all these beautiful points out actually connects to your creator. Why?
Because he made that person too.
It
must be okay.
He made that person, and you start to use God's vision. This is using Hashem's eyes. Nikudot tovot, under each Hebrew letter are the vowels. Each vowel changes the sound of the Hebrew letter. So if I start seeing you as love, and you're really, like, our relationship is challenging at best, but I start to see, you know what, you have this, like, I see you're really loving to someone else, or your dog, or your cat, or anything, right? Anything. Now I put those nikudot underneath you, and now you are on the frequency of love. I change you by just seeing you differently. When I do that, I am now using God vision. That's how I start connecting to my creator. I'm starting to create alignment. I'm getting into his consciousness, his vision. If I see you as a wise person, like you are so wise, like you have a lot of wisdom. Regardless if our relationship is good or not, I now make you wiser. I co-create with God. I'm now elevating you into a different frequency. And when we do that, God also has compassion for us, and he starts to see our nikudot tovot. Wow, she really sees the good points in other people. Or she's positive when life is nuts for her and she has no reason to be positive. And God starts pulling out our good points. And when we feel God pulling ours out and we're pulling others, it's this beautiful tapestry of like threads all coming together, these beautiful colors. So that's another way that we can connect to Hashem, finding the good points, these small little points. Not hard. You could find it in anyone. I promise you. Well, most people in your normal circle. Azamra. Azamra is sing with what you got. Rabbi Nachman gives this idea of Azamra. I will sing. When we begin to notice these nikudot tovot, we see, you know what? One of my teachers, Gedalia Fenster, he always gives a class and he says, I'm black, but I'm beautiful, right? I might have like lots of stuff around me, but I'm going to pull out the good points in myself. I'm beautiful. And now what do we do with those good points? We just notice them and put them on a shelf or a sticker chart. No, we start taking them and we sing with them, Azamra. This is who I am, Hashem. This is where I am. I'm at this place. I can still come to you and sing, and I can dance, and I can bring out these good points. Zamra means I will sing with what I have. I don't have to be perfect. I can meet God where I am, and he will meet where I am. The goodness that already exists within me becomes the beginning of my song. So gathering these good points and singing with Azamra. This is where I am. And I know you love me and you accept me, and you're pulling me up, and you're helping me, and you're fashioning me. All right, and we have just a few more mitzvot. Again, we spoke about these. Mitzvot are the extra VIP bonus points. They're the connection rituals that Hashem's put. Has anyone ever played Mario Kart or seen your kid play Mario Kart? Yeah, so you have these like little like boxes with a question mark and mushroom thing, and you hit it and you get bigger and you get faster. That's what the mitzvot are designed for us to do. They're designed for us to be able to like upgrade ourselves. Connection portals. So like we said earlier, different mitzvot, Hashem's going to give you a desire for one, and at different times of the day. Anytime you get an opportunity to do one, these are these extra bonus points. Collect as many coins as you can. Pass go and get $200. To change, yeah. Joy. The biggest mitzvah that Rabbi Nachman says, he says, is always a great mitzvah to be happy. Biggest mitzvah. Can't do any of them. Be happy. Why? Can anyone guess why it's the biggest mitzvah? What?
Because it's so difficult.
Okay, because it's so difficult.
It says it opens the harness. So.
Yes. Yes. And when the biggest mitzvah is to be happy also, because if my heart is expanded and my soul is expanded and I'm happy, I believe that everything is good. If I believe everything is good, where am I putting myself again? I'm getting myself in alignment. I'm getting myself connected to the source. If I believe my situation is good, someone rear-ended me and I'm happy about it, thank you, Hashem. I'm now knowing that that is from Hashem. Maybe in a year I'll see, oh, that person rear-ended me and it saved me from an accident I saw on the news that happened the same day. Like, we don't know everything, but when I'm happy, when I'm joyful, no matter what, there's a simcha happening, there's something horrible happening, now elevate myself up to God consciousness. He's like, yeah, that's why it's the biggest mitzvah. It trumps them all. The mitzvot are meant to like lift us up. These access points are meant to get us to that frequency. So joy, just like, it's like a springboard. Jump on joy, play happy music, sing, dance, even if you're crying, it's going to elevate you to this place where you're going to start feeling connected to your creator. And don't stop until you feel like you really have tears or happiness. You really work. Sometimes you drop, fake it so you feel it. Two more, meditation. Hitbodedut, or quieting the mind. Our sages teach us, and Kabbalah teaches us, that the mind creates space to feel the presence of God. Our mind wants to meditate. It wants to be in a meditative state always. People who have near-death experiences, it's difficult to bring them out sometimes, or comas. The mind likes to be in this other state, having to deal with all the minutia of our daily lives. Our brain is like, I just want to meditate. It's more beautiful up here, right? And it does, it wants to. So meditation brings us closer to God. The Arizal taught that focused contemplation, inner stillness, it helps align a person to the thoughts of the divine flow. So you want to connect your brain with Hashem's brain. We know how to do our eyes. My brain and God's brain, meditation. That is, and you know, because you love doing it, yes. Meditation. Oh, meditation is when we connect our mind with God's mind.
Yes.
Our consciousness with his consciousness in a very, very, very channeled way. Sometimes you get messages. Sometimes all you get is just Yeshuv Hadat, which is like a settling of our wisdom, of our thoughts, just feeling like good. And that's good too. We don't always need to have a message. Sometimes the message is just being relaxed in our body and happy in our body, connected. The Baal Shem Tov said that you can attach your thoughts to God through simple awareness or focused attention. Like kind of how we did earlier, a quiet moment of tuning the mind towards the divine can open the heart and awaken connection. So meditation now is the access point. We slow down, we breathe, and we become present. All the noise of this world, and we remember its connection to source. And there's two more that I wanted to share with you. This is why this book is missing these. Obviously, we spoke about gratitude. So gratitude is another access point. We go straight to the Holy Throne. And then last one, which is not in here, it's so, so, so important. The non-Jewish world does this. And it's frustrating because you see it and you're like, oh, we need to do more of it. AA teaches this. Alcoholics Anonymous teaches this. All of those 12-step programs. Acts of service. I want to connect to my creator. I have to go outside of myself. I have to go into this giving mode. You see somebody who's struggling, who has a relationship problem, or there's two people, create shalom. Act of service. How can I be of service? You know, a single mom, bring her a meal. Acts of service, volunteering, kindness, going out and doing something outside of myself. Yes, I'm struggling. Yes, I'm going through a hard time, but I can still be a present member of society. Hashem wants me to be. When you do that, you connect to what he does. He does acts of service. Hashem for us. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to make sure you hit all the green lights so you get to your appointment on time. But he goes out of his way to do these little things. So go out of our way. Step out of our ego. What am I doing for me? What am I doing for myself? How am I? Yes. But can you take a step back and now mirror God and be a part of this world and do those acts of kindness for others? That's how we can also connect. And you'll feel really good, like really good. It's like, like I feel good. And why do you feel good? Because you're mirroring your creator. So those two are going to go in the workbook when I fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a little meditation. I've done this with a few friends. It's very short, and I'm not sure if everyone will connect to it, but I'd love to know your thoughts on it. So we kind of learned that Hashem gives us this pushback, right? He gives us this pushback where we learned about the disconnection is really for us to connect. He gives us these moments where we feel like he's stepping away, like a parent is teaching a child to walk, and they take a few steps away and the child falls down, just so that the child has the desire to get back up and walk and build their muscles. So I'd like you to try this one. Give yourself a second, close your eyes, and just think of these 3 moments. So one was you went to drink a glass of water without pausing at all to acknowledge. You just gulped it down. You didn't even say thank you, Hashem. You didn't say bracha. Just gulped it down. Feel how that water feels kind of going down into your body. The second you realize and it's going down, you feel it. Another one is I received a lot of money. I got a nice payment, or I got my paycheck and I went shopping, or I spent most of it and I realized I didn't give tithe 10%. I didn't give back to Hashem. I just used it all for myself. I felt that lack mindset, scarcity mindset. Okay, the third one now, just realizing in the middle of your day, maybe it's around lunchtime, how much time has actually passed without you talking to your creator? When was the last time that you had a chat with your creator? Maybe it was a day ago. Maybe it was a month ago or a year ago. Just kind of feel how that feels in your body. Notice the feeling that arises. The feeling is not rejection, it is a signal. This is a reminder from your soul. Now imagine going back to those moments with awareness. Drinking water, a cold glass of water when you're so thirsty, and saying a blessing before you said it. Now drinking it. How does that feel different in your body when you drink it? Going down your throat, into your body. Now, another moment, receiving money, and immediately, before even doing anything, immediately giving your 10%, your meiser, just giving it away immediately, maybe even 15%. You feel so full and so abundant. Hashem gave you all of this, and yeah, I'm sharing it. And the next one, beginning the day with prayer. What does that feel like at lunchtime after you begin your day with prayer? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. How does that feel now instead? The discomfort was never a rejection. It was an invitation. This is God making himself felt in you. The rejection is actually feeling God. So if I have a question here in reflections, where in my life is discomfort and an invitation for connection? Where am I feeling God the most? Where's the most discomfort? Where I feel the most discomfort is where the most invitation is. That's God. I invite you to write down your thoughts when you get home. Just some feedback. How did that feel? Anyone want to share about that meditation? Do you feel you connected to it?
Sentence is very powerful.
The last sentence?
The discomfort was never rejection, it was a good friendship. Very powerful.
Thank you for sharing. Okay. You guys have a few more minutes? Yeah? All right. So I really would love to do this meditation with you. I've done this. Did you come to my beach circle where we were cold and wearing blankets? You were there. Okay. So you've been there. Okay. So you've tried this one. So I always, again, I feel that sometimes blessings can feel like like an obligation. Don't want to do it. It's frustrating. And I was really lucky to learn with a really, how do I say this? A really, really, really clever, smart rabbi about one word in a bracha that changed everything for me. So you can turn to page 14. So what is the bracha? Is it blessing God? Is it thanking him? Is it spiritual politeness? Thank you. I might as well be polite. But according to our sages, like we said, blessing is not something we give to God. It's a moment where we recognize the source of what we are receiving. It's awareness. It's alignment.
It's also having full control over your mental children.
Yes. Can you talk about that a little bit more?
We all have Mr. Shevirat, so that in the beginning, where we are a part of God literally. And then we also have Mr. Shevirat, which is the animal soul that just wants that have the food with no self-control whatsoever. So when you're holding it and I'm not gonna attack it, I'm gonna hold, pause, say thank you, Hashem, for letting me have the ability to get this. You're controlling the efficient being, but rising the efficient.
That's so beautiful. That's really beautifully said. Yeah, when our animal soul doesn't want to acknowledge God, right? Our animal soul is our ego. It's driven by that. I want to eat. I just want to I want to feed myself. But our holy soul wants to acknowledge everything. It has an intimate relationship with God at every single point. By the way, that's probably a peacock out there, in case you hear. Yeah, you can go for a walk around here after and you might find some little gifts and feathers. So we're going to reverse engineer a blessing. No one gave me permission to do this. So this is the way that I see a blessing now after I learned with this rabbi, and I can't see it in another way. I can't tell you I do this entire process every time, but every time I do a blessing, it's changed the way I see it. And I hope it does for you too. So in English here, we say, we're going to give an example. Has anyone not yet had one of the fruits from the grape or the sweet plums? Okay, so if you haven't said Borei Pri Ha'etz, you can take one. If there's another bracha that you haven't said on this table, you can. If you've already said all the brachot on this table, it's fine. So I waited. Oh, I've got mine here. I waited to say this with you guys. So these grapes look so good. Okay. So the blessing for a grape is Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam borei pri ha'etz. So I highlighted these two words here. Say Baruch and Borei. We're going to just work on those two words. We're going to reverse engineer them and see where they come from. So Baruch means, we think it means blessed. It comes from the word base resh to bless, and which really comes from the word berich, a spring. Bricha, sorry, did I say brech? Bricha, a spring. So the word Baruch actually comes from the word spring. It's connected to that word. And right here, if you'd like to know the source of that is, I've got it on the next page, which is Rashi Bereshis 12 in Parshas Lech Lecha. He shows you how the word Baruch is actually connected to the word Bricha, spring. Okay? So now that's going to change the meaning of this. If I put the word spring as the first word of a bracha, it's kind of shifting already my everything, right? What's the spring? What's the beginning source? Spring is the beginning of water. It's where water flows. Beginning of a creek, which turns into a river and a lake and the ocean, right? So now we're really kind of saying source, right? It's the first word. All right. Borei, let's go for that other word that's highlighted here. Borei means create. Bara, which is the second word in the Torah, which means to bring into existence. And if you've been to one of my sound baths, you'll know this. According to Kabbalah, it actually comes from also, according to Rabbi PointsIn, it comes from this word bar, which means to go outside of yourself, to create vibration. So Hashem, in the beginning, Hashem created. Now Hashem went outside of himself. He expanded himself. He created vibration. He created energy, tangible energy, frequency, vibration, to create every living matter. This cup is vibrating. This cup is full of frequency. This cup is existing because Hashem spoke the beginning of creation, that second word, bara, right? He made something out of nothing. This cup is made out of nothing. What we see as physical substance is nothing. So out of nothingness, instead of creates, we're going to think made out of nothing. All right. So let's start at the beginning. So if you don't already have a grape or one of the fruits, you can follow along. So the first word, baruch, it means a pool of water or spring, right? So it's the channel. Zohar explains that it is a blessing that opens a channel through which divine abundance flows into creation. We say baruch, we are acknowledging the source, where it all starts from, the spring from all life, creation, and blessing in this world. The next word, atah. Now it's becoming personal. We're not speaking about God. We are speaking to God. We're acknowledging the source of all sources. You are the spring. You are the source. This relationship now becomes direct and becomes intimate. Those first two words, it's face to face now. I'm saying that you are the source. Hashem, we use the word Yud K Vav K, the divine four-letter name of Hashem, but it's the masculine, it's the giving name. It's the name that we can experience God as the creator, the sustainer, the loving presence. He made the galaxies and the stars and the infinite world. We can't even measure space, right? This is where this is the God. So source, you're the source who made like galaxies. All right, let's stop there. If that doesn't blow your mind, like that's who he is. Now, Elokeinu, the God of the galaxies and the stars and the infinite world, he's also our God. You chose to be with us. You chose us as your people. Not only are you the God of the universe, but like you actually want to be a relationship with us. You're our God. And you're present with us and you care about the details of our life. You're our God. This God that made the galaxies, the black holes, now you're also our God. This is pretty neat. Melech, not only are you God, but you're also the king. You're the ultimate ruler. You don't just sit as a God and just do your thing and kind of stay away. You're a ruler. You want to be intimately involved with your kingdom. You want to know everything about it. You want to make sure it works properly. Ha'olam, out of all the stars and the galaxies, you chose this physical world to hold your Torah and your people. You are the king of the universe, yet you also care enough to be involved in the smallest detail of this world. You chose this world, this one. You want to be king of this world and our God and the one that made the galaxies and the source of everything. Okay, second. Borei, like we spoke earlier, Borei means creating out of nothing. Hashem had to go outside of himself and create the world through spiritual vibration and energy that is still in effect today. And it's interesting to note that science can now go out into space and measure the frequencies that they say is from the Big Bang, but we know is from creation. You can actually measure it. It's really beautiful. There's a safer here that talks all about it. It's really cool. So he made out of nothing. Creation comes and it's still happening. So the moment of creation where Hashem went outside of himself and created bara is happening today. Once that stops, creation stops. Pri. I thought this is really cool. I didn't know this. It comes from the root word para, meaning to multiply or produce and to be fruitful. So pirot, fruits, their results, their outcomes. So this is an outcome. This is a result. A fruit is a result. We're not talking about a seed or a bud or like a blooming fruit. This is the final result. This fruit that I hold is the result and outcome that the creator of the galaxy and the stars and the universe made out of nothingness. Choosing that it should result to be in my hand right now. It traveled how far, how many miles to get here in my hand for my enjoyment and my nourishment. Hashem is actively at this moment keeping this fruit in existence just for me. There's some fruits that I had to take away here. There were some that were not so nice, right? But Hashem made sure that the good ones came to us, right? He made sure that the healthy, the good, the fresh fruits came to us. All right. Ha'etz. Now this is one of my favorite. Why is ha'etz the last word? Hashem gave the illusion that the tree is the source of the fruit, but that But that is why it is the last word of this bracha. It's not, we don't start with ha'etz, we end with ha'etz. Hashem wants us to see that the tree is only a channel through which his divine light is sent and brings this fruit into existence. All emanates from the source, the spring of life through which all blessing flows. Ein on milvado, there's nothing but him. So now we're shifting our awareness. We see that the tree is the source. So we move from seeing the tree as the source to recognizing the divine source behind the tree. The tree is a vessel. The fruit is a gift. It is an end result. And the blessing comes from a moment of connection. So if you haven't yet, we're going to hold the fruit in your hand and notice the color and the weight and the shape. And we're going to say this bracha slowly. I'm going to say it if you haven't already. You say it together. And just try to say it. If you've already said it, just say it quietly in your own mind. Try to reword it the way we did. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Ha'olam Borei Pri Ha'etz. It's a different experience. So thank you guys for going through the workshop. Thank you. Don't use this and use it. What I'm saying is find other ways that you can connect. Any opportunity you can. Try to add to this. Try to find other ways. Try to teach other people how to connect. Hashem wants your connection so badly. He has your connection, right? We want to always connect everything back to that Hashem is the one that is the spring, is the source. He is the place where everything flows from. And water is a beautiful analogy. And that's why I love that to like reword a bracha. Instead of saying blessing, I'm now saying like spring, source. Like I see it now in my head. Like when I say a blessing, even if it's quickly, I'm like, it seems like fluid like water for me. I'm like, it's just coming down. That's it. Instead of like, I have to do this, or it's being polite, or like, thank you. Like, I get to say thank you after I eat, right? We say a blessing after. But I do hope that either this connects with you or something that we discussed here does. Because the whole point, it sounds very Chabadi. We want to bring Mashiach, where the entire world is in this God consciousness. And it starts with you, and it starts with doing something small. And those tiny little connection rituals that you can do are going to make a huge change in not just your life, but other people that you come in contact with. So thank you for doing my course. And there's notes here. And if anyone wants it corrected, the corrected one, just give me your number and I'll send it to you.
Something that came up, I don't know exactly which part, but there's like mitzvot that I find difficult, so that it almost feels like a disconnect. Do you think that it's like a calling to do those mitzvot? For example, like hosting guests on Shabbat, I get it's like not my strongest point. I get overwhelmed. I don't enjoy the meal. I can't wait for it to be over. But if it affects me like that, is that like maybe a calling to connect through it and do it? I don't know, but that just came up for me.
So I know Rav Kook talks a little bit about something similar. So Rav Kook says, if you can't pray, don't. He's like, there's enough mitzvot for you to do that you can connect with. Hashem gave us 613. There's no way that you connect with every single 613 one, even though the ones we can't do. There's no way. Rav Kook said, and I hope I'm not misquoting him, but I remember reading in his book that he told someone, like, if you can't pray, just don't. You can't learn Talmud, learn Zohar. If you can't learn Zohar, just learn something, like do something. Don't stop. And if it's hard for you to host, take a break from hosting for a little bit. On the other hand, yes, when you see that there's resistance, that means that there's an opportunity for you to connect. But if I'm going to the gym and I want to lift 100 pounds and I can't do it, and I keep trying to lift 100 pounds, I'm just going to burn out. So what I would say from what I learned from Rev Cook is start at like the 5-pound weight, work your way up, start working on your spiritual hygiene, your connection. And that might be something for you eventually that will be something that'll be so easy for you. And you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I hated doing it. And it might fluctuate. You might love it. You might hate it. Just invite nice guests, not the ones that you don't like. But that's what I would say from his advice I would give. Yeah. Anyone else had anything to share or any questions? Okay. Well, thank you guys for coming, and thank you for being here, and have a wonderful day. And when my friend sent me this message, she says, may the source be with you. I thought that was so funny. If anyone's a Star Wars fan, I was like cracking up this morning. She's like, good luck, may the source be with you. So may the source, Hashem, be with you. Yeah. Thank you. Anyone online, if you have any questions or you wanted to share anything, you can feel free to leave it in the chat. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.